Are you already excited for this one? Because I certainly am. Let's dive into it. Hi there, my name is Sim and welcome to Sim's Racing. Whilst playing the reveal trailer for EA Sports WRC in the background, let me go over what you can expect from today's video. First of all, I'll be giving you an overview of all the information I could find so far. Afterwards, I'll dive a little deeper into the trailer and some of the screenshots, giving you my thoughts. And at the very end, I'm going to add a few predictions of my own as well. So without further ado, let's start with the information overview. First things first, the game will be called EA Sports WRC, which shouldn't really come as a surprise. The release date is set in stone for November 3rd, 2023 and will be available on PC, PS5 and Xbox S and X, so there's no PS4 or Xbox One versions. You can already pre-order the game if you wish to for the price of €49.99 or the equivalent in your country. In addition to that, people owning Dirt Rally 2.0 will automatically get a 10% loyalty discount, which means they can get it for €44.99. With the pre-order package, you will receive the game itself, obviously, but also a 3-day early access, which is nice, as well as one custom livery for each of the Rally 1 cars and 5 VIP passes containing additional items and content in the future. Receiving all of this in a AAA game for that price is damn right criminal these days. However, you definitely won't hear me complaining about that. Now, I have noticed that there is some confusion surrounding various versions of the game, whether there will be a deluxe or ultimate version coming later on, something which was hinted in a recent leak. So to clarify, there won't be any other versions, just the one that is available at the moment. Once the game releases, you'll be able to buy the same package, but perhaps a bit more expensive, which is not confirmed, or you'll be able to buy the base game and have the option to acquire seasonal content separately. Moving on to the features in and characteristics of EA Sports WRC, starting off with the big one, Builder Mode. In essence, you'll be able to create your own modern era rally car confined within the rule set of either Rally 1, Rally 2 or Rally 3. You'll be able to choose a chassis, body shell and mechanical components from a select number of options. Afterwards, you can customize both the interior and exterior of your new car. Once assembled, you'll have the opportunity to try it out in a testing area and when finalized, compete with it against the official Rally 1, Rally 2 or Rally 3 cars in championships, etc. As you can see in this image, the shells are not from official manufacturers but rather fake brands. However, you can clearly recognize where they drew their inspiration from. The first one looks eerily similar to a Fabia Rally 2, the second reminds me somewhat of a Dacia Sandero, and the final one resembles the Suzuki Swift rather well. Once you've done all that, you'll be able to add your own custom livery, which leads me nicely into the next feature, the livery editor. Not only will you have the option to design your own livery for the custom built car, but also create them on any of the other cars that are in the game. However, it still remains to be seen how extensive and user-friendly it will be. As a designer myself, I have my fingers crossed, prayed a million times, avoided walking under any ladders and touched wood every time I mentioned this, because I sincerely hope that we'll still be able to design custom liveries in Illustrator, Photoshop or any other such program like we did in the past for Dirt Rally titles. Next up we have Moments Mode, in other words recreating great moments from the past where you'll be reliving a real life situation of a driver that overcame adversity to eventually win it in the end. Basically, these are challenges where you'll be at a certain disadvantage and have to beat the odds. The next feature mentioned is the dynamic handling system. The basis for it is the handling model of Dirt Rally 2.0. However, it underwent extensive reworks, especially on the tarmac side of things. I won't speculate on how good or bad the handling model will be until I've had a good amount of actual testing under my belt. Having said that, I'm cautiously optimistic here because of the involvement of Jon Armstrong, the resident game designer and 2023 ERC3 champion. Interesting to know is that they suggest two different handling models, one for the experienced virtual rally drivers such as myself and one for novices new to this type of motorsport. With the more accessible handling model also comes a simplified pace note system. Speaking of pace notes, the two English co-driver voices have now been confirmed. For the male variation we'll have Jonathan Jackson, longtime co-driver of my mate Marion Evans, and the female variation will be voiced by Kirsty Riddick, who's been sitting alongside Johnny Greer for the past couple of years. The short article snippet discussing this also mentions that realism extends to audio, which is probably to no one's surprise. We all know how brilliant these lads and ladies are at delivering proper engine and car audio. Our first characteristic mentioned concerns immersiveness. Not sure what it means exactly, but I assume that moving to the Unreal game engine will allow them to create an even more immersive world graphically, for example. Next up we have authenticity. Both in terms of locations and cars, we will get the real deal. Based on the footage and the few screenshots we have, the cars look absolutely stunning. Their 3D models have never looked better in any of the previous WRC games developed by other studios. We'll have all the 2023 WRC, WRC2 and Junior WRC drivers, teams and liveries to play around with. But it's not just modern machinery will be able to crash into a tree. There will also be 68 historical cars in EA Sports WRC. This includes the Subaru Impreza S5 WRC from '98, the Lancia Delta HF Integrale Group A, the Subaru Impreza Group A from '95, the Audi Sport Quattro S1 E2, the Opel Ascona 400, the Lancia Stratos, Alpine Renault A110 1600S, Ford Escort Mark II and the Hillman Avenger, Colin's very first rally car. A lovely surprise is the car list page on EA Sports WRC's website with all the classes and the number of cars that will be in it, but I'll get back to that in the prediction section of this video. When it comes to locations and stages, we'll get 18 rallies in total, 17 at launch. Of those 18, we'll receive 12 from the official WRC calendar when the game releases and 1, the Central Europe Rally, which will come post-launch for everyone, free of charge. I suspect that's due to the fact that it's a rather late addition to the calendar roster and also a completely new event that hasn't been organized in the past, if I remember correctly. Feel free to confirm or rebuke that in the comments below. Based on this, it leaves us with 5 other locations. Those will either be brand new ones which were originally designed for Dirt Rally 3, redesigned stages from Dirt Rally 2.0 or a combination of both. Overall we'll have roughly 200 stages, not unique ones by the way, which are over 600 kilometers in total, which is rather impressive compared to previous Dirt Rally titles. The locations and stages themselves will also represent pretty much one-to-one recreations of real and iconic ones from WRC events, something I'm always in favor of. Sure, the ones KT Racing designed were fun and fantastic, but I always prefer one-to-ones though. I don't know, there's just something about that. Another way of keeping things authentic is the return of surface degradation. The final section on the page says the complete experience, where they add some additional features that will be available in the game, including career, championship, time trial, cross-platform multiplayer, regularity rally, a detailed livery editor which I already pointed out, and more. Nothing is known about the career mode thus far, so we'll have to wait for more information in the near future. Championship and time trial are most likely going to be the same as or very similar to what was in Dirt Rally 2.0. However, regarding cross-platform multiplayer there is a bit more information. According to the website, you'll be able to get together with 31 of your mates in a single lobby, in other words 32 players in total. It'll be interesting to see how surface degradation will work in conjunction with the 32 player lobbies. I really hope that you'll have to sweep on gravel rallies when first on the road or encounter deeper ruts when setting off as the final driver. I suspect we'll see the return of dailies, weeklies and monthlies as well. Aside from that, clubs are back too. Communities will be able to organize multi-surface tournaments at any location and time of year. Those final 3 words are very interesting. What it alludes to is that we'll be able to drive events which are normally held in summer during winter. Interesting indeed. More on that in just a bit. The detailed livery editor was already mentioned earlier, so I won't repeat myself again. Then there's another interesting one, regularity rally. For those who don't know what they are, it's more or less the same as a normal rally, apart from the fact that you need to drive at a certain average speed. Never expected this to be part of an official WRC game, but I'm intrigued by it nonetheless. Before moving on to the trailer analysis, I do need to go to the Steam page where we can find information specifically for PC. First of all, there will be peripheral support for a wide variety of controllers, wheels, pedals and custom hardware. You can also customize your graphical settings to your personal liking. VR will be PC exclusive but not from launch. It's going to be added in a future update. PC VR users will like it. Console players won't, unfortunately. It's not ideal, but a choice they had to make due to time constraints, I suspect. We're also getting triple screen support. I believe it will be proper triple screen support, but I can't say for sure. Then there's the addition of a photo mode, which I'm very happy about. Hopefully you'll be able to move the camera around freely though. The game will have Nvidia DLSS and AMD Fidelity FX support as well. And last but not least, we now have the minimum and recommended specs, which are a bit more forgiving than I would have guessed. Now that concludes the information overview section of the video. I might have missed some things here and there, but feel free to add anything I didn't mention in the comments below. Right, let's take a closer look at this reveal trailer then, as well as some screenshots. My initial impressions are definitely positive, mainly because of the footage that was shown and not necessarily what was said by the commentator. We also need to keep in mind that what we see is from a game that's still in development, not the release version. So things might still change somewhat. Now I have to admit I do like how it starts though, from the creators of Dirt Rally. Just to remind everyone who's currently in charge of the WRC franchise. Having said that, let's focus on what's actually shown in the footage. The 3D car models look absolutely spot on. You may know that I haven't exactly been jubilant about the models from previous WRC titles by KT Racing. We know that Codemasters are very much sticklers for detail, and it definitely shows when you look at the Rally 1 cars. Sure, we know there are a few slip-ups here and there, such as the light pot on the Impreza Group A being one example of that. Moving on to the surroundings, we see short snippets of various locations in the game. The question is, which locations are these? Well, let's figure that out, shall we? I'll run the trailer and pause it at a point where we can actually figure out which location it shows. First we have Rally Finland, which we can confirm by looking at the rally plate on the door. There you can see Secto, who is the official main sponsor of the event. Next up is Rally Croatia. Again, same way of figuring that out is by looking at the rally plate, which says Zagreb. The following one is Rally Chile, as you can see here. Followed by the extremely long straight at Safari Rally Kenya. Then we see the Hyundai i20 Rally 1 fly over a massive jump. Probably the easiest to guess for anyone that follows rallying, as this is a jump just before the finish of the legendary Fafe stage from Rally Portugal. Seeing which one is represented here from the rally plate isn't as easy, but the snow gives you a good indication. Combine that with the shape of the emblem on the plate and we can confirm that this is Rally Sweden from the official WRC calendar. The next snippet is still from Rally Sweden, as you can recognize the blurred blue and yellow emblem. The fourth Puma Rally 1 belting through the stage in stormy weather is from Rally Portugal once more. You can just pick out the Vodafone logo as well as the name Portugal. The rally plate on the bonnet is also a good indicator. Now this one is a bit trickier. It is in snowy conditions, so you would assume it's Rally Sweden. However, the rally plate on the door is not the same one. This one says Rally Scandia, which means this is one of the 5 locations which are still unknown. Whether it's the stages from Dirt Rally 2.0 or completely new ones still remains to be seen. I wasn't able to conclusively say that it is the former. So this means we'll get 2 snow rallies this time around, something I'm all for. Up next is Rally Sardinia, which can easily be deduced by looking at the plate again. Then we see the Hyundai i20 Rally 1 flying through the Finnish forest based on the Secto branding. The short clip that follows is of the same event. Here we can see the Puma Rally 1 driving up the treacherous mountain roads of Rally Greece. Regarding the footage of the classic cars, it becomes a bit tricky. We don't have any rally plates on these cars, so we need to take an educated guess. Based on my extensive experience driving on Dirt Rally 2.0 Spanish tarmac stages, I believe this is in fact Spain. The road texture and the environment has that Mediterranean Spanish tarmac vibe, which means we now have 2 of the 5 unknown locations more or less confirmed. The Escort Mark II is flying through either Rally Sweden or Rally Scandia, which we already saw earlier. The following location, however, is probably the most difficult one to figure out. Based on that little house in the background, as well as the style of fence and the environment, I suspect it's the Safari Rally Kenya. Some have suggested New Zealand or Australia, but I don't think that matches the picture. Now here is where things get interesting for sure. This without a doubt is Rally Finland. Secto Automotive is a big clue, as well as the name Rally Finland on the banner. The only thing which might be confusing is the snow on the ground. In recent memory, Rally Finland has always been a summer event, so snow doesn't make any sense here. So that means we can say with certainty at this point, you'll be able to drive any event at any point of the year. Rally Finland in winter or Rally Sweden in summer. This feature opens up the replayability of stages quite a bit. You'll know where the road goes, but with snow on the ground, you'll have to adjust your driving style, and that can only be beneficial for everyone. Next up we see some footage of Rally Mexico, which we can deduce again from looking at the plate on the door. And last but not least, we have the Ford Puma Rally 1 at Rally Estonia. Now we have that out of the way, what about the graphics? Overall I'm happy with it, but there are a few things I'm not so much a fan of. Personally, I was expecting a larger quality jump overall after it was revealed they were using the Unreal game engine. That being said, it does not look bad at all. However, I do miss a bit of color vibrance though. It's as if there's a white misty filter put on top. Also would prefer some deeper textures. But again, that's down to my personal preference, nothing more. I did open some of the screenshots in Photoshop and made some minor adjustments as to what I would prefer the game to look like myself. Feel free to share your thoughts in the comments. I'll most likely dive a little deeper into it once they release some actual gameplay footage, something which they are planning to do. Now I've also taken a closer look at the road surfaces. They appear to be pretty smooth, but that's probably because they were first on the road. You do see tire tracks being left behind, which is nice. And I presume you'll get tougher and more rutted roads the further down the running order you are. What I do like is the dust clouds and the little pebbles or rocks flying from underneath the tires. Tremendous job on that front, to be honest. I guess we have Jorgaffel and his colleagues to thank for it. Weather effects such as snow or rain also look fantastic. With that being said, it's time to wrap up the trailer analysis and move on to predictions and speculations. So I already mentioned that when it comes to locations, EA Sports WRC will have 18 of them in total. The 13 of the official WRC calendar and 5 additional ones. We've already deduced that there's another snow rally coming, Rally Scandia, as well as a Spanish tarmac rally, though that one is slightly less confirmed. When it comes to the remaining 3, there's no way of telling which ones they'll be. I would expect 3 gravel events, whether those are from Dirt Rally 2.0 or completely new ones designed for Dirt Rally 3, which was scrapped, still remains to be seen. What I do want to discuss here is the length of stages. In the past, stage lengths were rather short due to the limitations of the Ego engine. However, now that they are using the Unreal engine, things might change drastically. So we have 18 locations, 200 stages, totaling over 600 kilometers. As I mentioned before, those 200 stages aren't all going to be unique. The game will have the usual long stage divided up in sections with a reverse variant. Based on that, on average we'll have 11.11 etc. stages for each location, 200 divided by 18. It does say over 600 kilometers, so I'll round my number up to 12 stages per location. Having said that, every kilometer of those 600 plus will actually be unique. Otherwise, each stage will only be 3 kilometers long, 600 divided by 200, which makes no sense. So if you take this into account, each location on average will have one long stage of roughly 33.33 etc. kilometers, 600 divided by 18. Again, it's over 600 kilometers, so let's round that number up to an even 35. Of course, not every location has such long stages, so let's say the longest one from each location will be between 25 and 40 kilometers. It might be lower depending on whether there will be a super special stage added as well, but we just don't know, so let's leave that out of the equation. When taking both the number of stages per location and the average stage length into consideration, I believe the structure will be as follows. We will have one very long stage with a reverse variant. That one will be divided up into 3 shorter stages with a reverse option as well. And finally we'll have 2 of those shorter ones combined with a reverse option twice. So first stage and middle stage, but also the middle and final ones. If we add them all together we get 12 stages. Now keep in mind that this is pure speculation and the scenario I'd like to see myself. It doesn't mean that this is actually going to be the case. However, it does make a lot of sense in my mind. All we have to do is wait and see. Now, apart from predicting stage lengths, there's also the matter of the cars we'll see in EA Sports WRC. There is a news article on their website which displays a car list of sorts. It gives us all the different car classes and the amount of vehicles that they will contain. However, only those that were revealed in the trailer video or promotional material are filled in. So it's simply up to us to add the rest, isn't it? Before going into specific cars, let's have a look at the different classes, because boy am I excited about these. Obviously we start off with the WRC, WRC2 and Junior WRC class. Then we have the WRC 2017 to 2021 class. Oh yes. Followed by the WRC 1997 to 2011, which is a bit longer than it was in Dirt Rally 2.0. Another win right there. After that we have more Rally 2 cars, which aren't part of WRC 2, meaning older R5 cars. Next up we have Rally 4 and the NR4/R4 class. Then there's the Super 2000 and Super 1600s. Oh. Followed by the F2 Kit Car class, which is now twice as long as in Dirt Rally 2.0. We'll also have the 4-wheel drive Group Bs, the rear-wheel drive Group Bs, H3 rear-wheel drive, H2 rear-wheel drive, H2 front-wheel drive, H1 front-wheel drive, and at the bottom the custom models for Builder Mode. As was mentioned in the information overview section, EA Sports WRC will have 78 cars in total, 10 competing in the 2023 WRC Championships and 68 modern/historic rally cars. I was expecting a few additions to the old Dirt Rally 2.0 roster, but not nearly as many as we know now, so I am properly excited about these. Right, let's try to figure out which cars make the most sense for each class. It appears as if the list will be in alphabetical order, so that's something we need to take into account. Also, it's safe to assume that we'll see the return of most of the Dirt Rally 2.0 roster, so let's add those first if possible each time we start with one of the car classes. First up we have WRC 2017 to 2021. None of those cars ever featured in a Dirt or Dirt Rally game, so this one is wide open. Personally, I wouldn't be shocked to see the Citroën C3 WRC and perhaps even the VW Polo RWRC. However, in the unlikely event that actually is the case, I think the safe bet would be the Hyundai i20 WRC and the Ford Fiesta WRC. Why not the Yaris WRC, you ask? Well, it's a very long and complicated story and we know barely any details, but something happened between Codemasters and Toyota in the past regarding the car licenses, which resulted in never having a single Toyota rally car in any of Codemasters rally games for over a decade. The WRC license forces Toyota's hand to allow the Yaris Rally 1 being part of the game, however all the other cars don't fall under the WRC agreement and need to be licensed individually, so that most likely means the Yaris Rally 1 is going to be the only Toyota in EA Sports WRC, something we need to keep in mind when adding cars to the other classes. Swiftly moving on to the WRC 1997 to 2011, where we add the Dirt Rally 2.0 cars first, which means we'll have the Citroën C4 WRC, the Ford Focus RS WRC 01, the Ford Focus RS WRC 07, the Peugeot 206 WRC, the Skoda Fabia WRC 05, the Subaru Impreza S5 WRC from 98, the Subaru Impreza WRC from 01, and the Subaru Impreza WRC from 08. As you can see, I've left spaces open to fill in the cars that make the most sense or are actually confirmed, one of which is the Citroën Zara WRC. A while back there was a leak with achievements and the Zara was mentioned in there. Apart from the Zara, there's the Ford Focus RS WRC 03, which is highly requested, an absolutely stunning car and one of my all-time favorites, followed by the Peugeot 307 WRC, which is again a highly requested car, part of early Dirt games and on the Dirt dev team's car wishlist wall. And last but not least, there's the Seat Cordoba WRC Evo 3 or the Skoda Octavia WRC. Both highly requested cars and absolutely stunning. My personal vote goes to the Seat Cordoba though, as I've always had a bit of a sweet spot for that car. I would love to add either the Blobeye or the Hawkeye Impreza WRC car as well, but that seems somewhat unlikely, unless they remove the 01 or 08 car and put that one in place. If that happens, it'll be the Hawkeye, as it's probably the most requested car by the community ever. The next car class is Rally 2, which means we'll get 2 R5 cars from Dirt Rally 2.0. In this case it's most likely the Ford Fiesta R5 and the Peugeot 208 T16 R5. Next up we have the Rally 4 class, which is quite straightforward. There we'll have the Ford Fiesta, Opel Corsa, Peugeot 208 and the Renault Clio. Then we have the NR4/R4 class. Most likely it'll have the Mitsubishi Lancer Evo 10 and the Subaru Impreza WRX STI NR4 from Dirt Rally 2.0, which leaves us with one open spot. First I was considering the Subaru Impreza WRX STI Spec C, or the Impreza WRX STI N13, or the Mitsubishi Lancer Evo 9 R4, but then I realized there's another one I completely missed, the DJM McRae R4. Someone mentioned it on Discord and I couldn't help shake the feeling that this one is going to make the cut. Up next is one of my favorite classes, Super 2000. There we have 3 open spots, which means we can select whichever one comes to mind, but I believe it will be these. The Fiat Abarth Grande Punto, which was in a previous Dirt game, the Peugeot 207, which was also in a previous Dirt game, and the Ford Fiesta, mainly due to the WRC version being in a previous Dirt game and the good relationship with Ford and M Sport via Jon. Then there's another one of my favorite classes, the Screaming Super 1600s. Here I'd go for the Citroën C2, which was in a previous Dirt game, the Opel Corsa, which has an RX model in Dirt Rally 2.0, the Renault Clio, which also has an RX model in Dirt Rally 2.0, and the Suzuki Swift, which was in earlier Dirt games. Wouldn't be surprised though to see the VW Polo instead of the Swift, as Dirt Rally 2.0 has an RX model of that car. Moving on to another class of screamers, the F2 kit cars. There will be 6 of them, which is double the amount that were in Dirt Rally 2.0. However, let's add them first though. So, apart from the Peugeot 306 Maxi, the Seat Ibiza and the VW Golf GTI Mark IV, which ones can we add? Well, it's safe to assume that the Citroën Zara kit car will be one of them. It was quite a head turner on tarmac and actually won a WRC event as a front wheel drive car against the 4-wheel drive WRCs. That just screams moments mode, doesn't it? For one of the other spots, I'd say it's either the Ford Puma or the Ford Escort kit car, and then either the Renault Clio Maxi kit car or the Renault Megane Maxi kit car. Personally, I'd go for the Puma and the Clio. What's next? Oh, Group A. Both the Impreza and Delta are already confirmed, so seeing those in that order, it'll be easy to fill in the rest based on those that were in Dirt Rally 2.0. Meaning we'll get the Ford Escort RS Cosworth, the Mitsubishi Lancer Evo 6 and the Subaru Legacy RS. When it comes to the 4-wheel drive Group Bs, I think it's safe to assume a similar situation with the return of the Dirt Rally 2.0 bunch. In other words, the Audi Sport Quattro S1 E2, the Ford RS200, the Lancia Delta S4, the MG Metro 6R4 and the Peugeot 205 T16 Evo 2. For the rear-wheel drive Group B class, it's a similar story. There we'll have the BMW M1 Pro Car Rally, the Lancia 037 Evo 2, the Opel Manta 400 and the Porsche 911 SCRS. And again, same for the H3 rear-wheel drive class, where we'll have the BMW E30 M3 Evo Rally, the Datsun 240Z, the Ford Sierra Cosworth RS500, the Lancia Stratos, the Opel Ascona 400, which is already confirmed in a screenshot, and the Renault 5 Turbo. Then we get to the H2 rear-wheel drive class, where we already know 3 of them. The Alpine Renault A110 1600S, the Ford Escort Mark II and the Hillman Avenger, which is a very interesting addition as this is Colin's first rally car he competed in without his parents knowing about it. Apparently they were on holiday that weekend. So even in his early days he was a bit of a mad lad. To that list we can already add the iconic Fiat 131 Abarth Rally and the Opel Kadett C GTE from Dirt Rally 2.0. That leaves us with one open spot all the way at the bottom. It is safe to assume that it will be the Chrysler Sunbeam Lotus Colin drove in his early days. Most of us know that car as the Talbot Sunbeam Lotus. In the front-wheel drive H2 class there are 3 cars, and we can be fairly certain these are 2 of them, the Peugeot 205 GTI and the VW Golf GTI 16 valve, which means we still have an open spot. And there's only one real choice here too, which is Colin's Vauxhall Nova. And finally we have the front-wheel drive H1 class, which most likely will have the Citroën DS21, the Lancia Fulvia HF and the Mini Cooper S. Now that's done, I think it's a good moment to wrap up the video. Feel free to comment below if there are thoughts you'd like to share or questions you like answered. Thank you very much for watching, I hope you enjoyed it, and if that is indeed the case, feel free to like the video. Want to support Sims Racing even more? Consider subscribing and hitting that notification bell. It helps the channel reach more like-minded people such as yourself. Enjoy the rest of your day, good luck and goodbye.